Hey everyone, Jeff at Tidy Bites here for week 2 of Mindset Month, where we get to consider new ways to think about how we use technology and set good goals for dealing with our digital mess. Last week, we covered the idea that you can't do everything, which is obvious, but good to think about specifically every so often because it helps us choose intentionally what we want to spend time on and what we want to let go. Deciding what not to do is every bit as important as deciding what to do. Now, in week 2, we're looking at a related idea, which is that attention is life. Now, before you get into a deep metaphysical argument with me about what life is, I admit that this is a somewhat blurry, shorthanded way to express the idea, but it was the best I could come up with to squish it into a hopefully memorable 3-word phrase. So, let me elaborate just a bit. A while ago, I came across an article online which said, among other things, that our lives, meaning the things that make up our own perceptions and experiences from beginning to end, are simply the sum of everything that we pay attention to. That felt like a bold statement to make, so I thought about it for a while and realized that while there's definitely more to life than that in many ways, there is an interesting truth there. Whatever you pay attention to is what you will remember, what you will be able to act on, be able to accomplish well, be able to enjoy or learn, and so on. Paying attention to our actions is how we become skilled in something, and paying attention to people is how we become good friends, spouses, and parents. Even the wording of that phrase, paying attention, highlights how important it is. It's a precious, limited resource, perhaps even more important than time. If I give you time without attention, how much is that really worth? And what if my attention is split? Humans really can't multitask among different activities that all require attention. I might be able to talk to you while we walk together, but what if I check my email in the middle of a conversation? Both of those activities are going to suffer, and you will rightly feel neglected. So, back to the idea that attention is life and what that means in the context of our digital world. Last week, when we explored the idea that you can't do everything, I didn't say much about how to choose what to do among all the different options. Rather, I simply pointed out that you should make those choices consciously. Now combine that with this week's idea that your life experience is the sum of everything you pay attention to. Together, those ideas provide some direction. Do you want to pay all that attention to social media, or even regular media for that matter? Are you voluntarily receiving so much email that staying on top of it requires hours every day? Are you trying to stay informed on so many topics that it's stressful rather than informative? How much attention you should spend on any particular activity or person is up to you. Everyone has different interests, hobbies, relationships, goals, and priorities. But everyone also has a limited amount of attention. Spending time on something without paying attention is mindless activity. You might as well do something else because it won't do you any good. Paying attention only partially is almost as pointless because our brains aren't wired to work well with a split focus. Look for the things in your life that have a good return on investment for the attention you devote. When you focus on them, your life is better for it. Relationships, learning, challenging yourself, building, creating, journaling, reading, even just for fun, and yes, even taking mental breaks with things that have few objectively redeeming qualities. There's nothing wrong with relaxing. But avoid the things that suck you in without you realizing it. Avoid the apps and internet rabbit holes that make you wonder where on earth the day went. Avoid the overzealous consumption of information with nothing to show for it. Avoid empty productivity that lets you check off a dozen tasks that aren't adding real value to anyone. For this week, again, I have only one action step for you. See if you can catch yourself spending time and attention in a way that doesn't line up with your goals and values. And in that moment, stop. Just once, just to prove to yourself that you can. This might be mindless social media scrolling. It might be reading an email newsletter simply because it's in your inbox rather than because it's actually useful to you. It might be taking pictures of an event instead of enjoying it personally, even though you'll probably never look at the pictures again and they can't really capture the experience that well anyway. Shift into the mindset that your attention is the most important thing you can give to someone or something, even more than your time. Don't waste it. Don't split it. Choose what matters to you and focus on those things. Thanks for watching. As always, if you're enjoying Tidy24, like and subscribe for more digital organization content, and I will see you next week.